Okay, so I was in the Navy. I did 20 years in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Why Navy? I don't really have the best answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a buddy of mine when I was 20 years old. We didn't have anything else to do. We're kind of running out of options. We're working whatever jobs. College wasn't really the answer at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Hey, man, we should look at joining the Navy."
Mm-hmm. And so, what was your rank, if that's like the best way of asking it?
So my ultimate rank I achieved, I was a E8.
Mm-hmm.
And then the highest you can go enlisted is E9. So,
Wow. Where did you serve?
and my first command was here in San Diego, down in North Island. And that's the base I've been stationed at the entire time, except for my last year where I got stationed up in China Lake. But I was fortunate. I worked specifically on this type of helicopter, and it was only here, Florida, Hawaii, and Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot to move somebody.
Yeah.
So it was good. My kids got to have a normal childhood.
Yeah.
They didn't get that normal, like, what is it, Navy brat, where you move all around the place.
Mm-hmm.
So happy and fortunate for my kids and for me, I feel like.
So I see you brought some like awards and trinkets here. So would you like to share anything about those and like what they were?
Okay, so I do have a little a binder. A long time ago, someone told me to start making this thing. It's an I Love Me binder. So it's kind of like a chronological history of my time in the military,
Mm-hmm.
of different awards that I received, and it was just a way for me to kind of like hold on to them. The last award I received, so this is the highest one. This is a Meritorious Service Medal.
Mm-hmm.
It was signed by a 3-star admiral for the President of the United States. So I was already basically separated from the military when my last commanding officer and executive officer, they hopped in an F-18 from China Lake, flew down to North Island,
Mm-hmm.
took me out to lunch, and then presented me with the award, just to say, thanks for my service. And it kind of neat to go pick someone up that flies in on an F-18,
Yeah.
just to take you out to lunch.
Yeah.
Much less the award, which I think is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And just a little bag of, I'm sure you've heard of, what do they call them, like challenge coins? Well, in the Navy, like these guys have gotten out of control with the size and shapes and
Yeah.
colors of the coins. There's just a bunch of them for you to look through if you wanted to.
Well, you just say. Wait. So how do these work? Do you get them like each year you serve, or like are these different awards?
So these are actually not awards. So people actually make these like for their command. So the last squadron I was at, our chiefs, we all got together and we made this.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get a company to commission it. They'll make 100 of these things.
Yeah.
And then we'll buy them for ourselves, and then we'll hand them out to other chiefs that we know that are very good friends or someone. So it's like typically they're more of a coin size.
Yeah.
And you see someone, you'd palm someone a coin when you shake their hand, and it's like, oh, thanks, man. It's like and typically the cooler the coin or the higher the rank of the person that giving you the coin, the more important it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we've definitely come to nowadays where people are just making coins, where it's clearly not even a coin anymore. They've gone so far.
Which one of these do you think you value the most?
Oh, wow, that's an excellent question. All of them have such a drastic different story. Like I got this one in Japan from a guy that's no longer around. I was part of designing this coin. I don't know that I have a favorite or something that's more important to me. They all have some kind of value to me. It's more of the story that goes behind it.
Yeah. And then this is kind of going a little bit farther, but how is your transition from like military life to like post-military life, like now?
Oh wow. So being active duty is not just like having a different job.
Mm-hmm.
You might work a 9 to 5 shift while you're home, like a normal job would be, but a normal job, you know where you're gonna live in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's been points in my life where I didn't know where I was going to be living 3 months from now because I didn't get the orders yet. So orders come through and say, "Oh yeah, I get to stay in San Diego," or they come through and say, "You're going to Virginia, or Italy, or Japan, or I don't know."
Yeah.
So most people don't understand what it's like to live and have that stress. Like, yeah, the move is going to get paid for, and all the stuff's going to happen, but where are you going to live? Where are your kids going to go? There's a huge process that goes in that.
Mm-hmm.
And so for all of that to be behind me and know that I never have that stress again, just that alone is a massive.
Yeah, that's nice.
The transition was interesting. I found a job fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I get paid well. I get retirement. I gotta say, life is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I could see my hair for the first time.
Yeah, that's nice.
I shaved my head for 2 decades, and then before that, I always had very short hair.
Mm-hmm.
So to actually see my hair without a mirror for the first time was a shock.
Yeah.
Having this stuff is different because 20 years of shaved head, shaved face.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Kind of come and go.
Yeah.
Differently than you would in normal civilian life. So you change jobs and locations every 3 years. You get a different set of orders and you go someplace new. Most people, when they get a job, they'll work there for 5, 10, 15, even 20 years or more, or stay in the same location for a very long period of time. So they keep the same group of friends. For us, you make really close, very tight bonds. Obviously, because you go through, stressful, unique situations together. But then, quickly those bonds are gone, and you make new friends and move on. So to answer your question, I still have a couple friends that are in the area. But just like in the past, they very quickly just kind of move on.
This question might be pretty general, but what was your biggest challenge over all these years?
Family, by far. So the military is hard, and I don't care what branch you go in or what your job is. I don't care if you're going door to door with an AK-47 and you're busted in, or you're a cook on a ship. The military is difficult. Just as a single person out there doing it, but then when you add a relationship and somebody back home, and then multiple somebody's back home, and you're gone 4, 5, 6 months, 10 months at a time. 10 months is a lifetime. A lot of stuff happens in 10 months. And to just not see your family, not see your wife or your kids, it's crazy.
Yeah. Is it hard to find a balance in the military? I'm guessing it is.
It is absolutely difficult.
Yeah.
And it can go multiple ways. And just like any job, you can get consumed by it. You can put so much effort in, and clearly you see all the trinkets and the awards. The Navy and the military is great at recognition, and it can be addictive almost. So you're going to try harder for the next award and be the next Sailor of the Year, and get promoted as fast as you can. And then your whole life becomes that thing. Well, what are you doing with the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And that's okay for some people. You know that not everyone wants to get married, not everyone wants to have kids, not everyone has that. And if you put everything into the military, there's a lot to get out of it. I mean, you can see the world and do cool stuff, but the balance is hard to find. To be able to put in just enough effort where work is satisfied, but to be able to save enough energy to have at home for the wife and the kids is so hard to do. It's very difficult because there are times where the military and the hours are so demanding. before deployment, there are weeks before deployment where you're working, 12-hour shifts, 12 on, 12 off, and that's right before you leave for deployment. That's when you should be spending most time at home with the wife and the kids, enjoying yourself, and that's not always the case. So balance is incredibly hard to find.
Yeah. I see this thing here, so.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even. So as you, this is just a duplicate. Like I said, the Navy enjoys awards and decorations and all that stuff. So these are just some posters. So you get this. This one is a crossing the line ceremony. So when you become a shellback, this is when you cross the equator on a Navy vessel.
Mm-hmm.
You'll go through whatever initiation that there happens to be. At the time when I did my first one, it was kind of before there was so many rules and regulations.
Mm-hmm.
So the initiation process can be disgusting and awful, but I went through it, and it's something I can say I did.
Mm-hmm.
And they wake you up, and you wear your clothes inside out, and they dump coffee grounds down your underpants, and you gotta crawl around. They spray water on you all day, and it's pretty good. But then once you're done, you get this cool card, and you get to say that you're a shellback.
Mm-hmm. So it was worth it?
I would say it was worth it. It just cool stuff. This one is for the Order of the Golden Dragon. There's this. This is where you cross the 180th meridian on a vessel.
Mm-hmm.
So same kind of deal, One is crossing the equator, and one's crossing this, and then there's one more somewhere. And this is going through the Suez Canal.
That's cool.
Pretty crazy. I was in the Red Sea when my daughter was born. Not the funnest area to be in.
Yeah. That's pretty cool though. And so these are awards? These
not necessarily awards. It's like a commemorative plaque.
Mm-hmm.
You were here, just a little fancier, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just the Navy trying to commemorate, and anything you can do to improve the morale of anybody, especially while they're out to sea and they're on a ship. Life's tough.
Yeah.
You don't see your loved ones. You don't see anything. You get emails, and sometimes you get bad emails.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do. So the Navy does a lot of stuff to try to improve morale, and as much, make it better than what it is.
And then this is kind of like another story question, but what was like your most like stressful or kind of like scariest position you've been in throughout your experience?
But as far as stressful, my last position, extremely stressful. I was filling in for a master chief that left. I was only a senior chief. I worked for full bird captain as the command master chief.
Mm-hmm.
We had 300 military, 500 civilian, so there were close to 1,000 people that worked underneath me, and I directly reported to Force Master Chief that was in charge of all of naval aviation. He was my boss. So every aircraft carrier was basically similar to me. They reported to the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat at the same table as these guys that did very big things, and my voice was equal to their voices.
Yeah.
Very stressful. Lots of stuff. And then not just at the table, but the hundreds of sailors that work for me.
Mm-hmm.
Every single thing about their lives is comes across my desk. Whether someone got into an accident, someone's in the hospital, someone's got a drinking problem,
Mm-hmm.
someone's hitting their wife. There's so many issues, because everyone's got a problem.
Yeah.
And I had to hear about all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the most stressful, most rewarding, and by far very happy all of it's over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.